1 month before my wedding, my fiancée told me something that should have ended our relationship right then. She said,
Corey is coming.
I looked at her and asked, Corey? She nodded like she was talking about an old college friend. But Corey wasn't just some friend. He was her ex-boyfriend. The man she had once told me was completely out of her life. I laughed because, honestly, I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Then she said something I'll never forget. Ethan, you shouldn't complain. I'm inviting him because we're adults now. I stared at her for a few seconds. Our wedding was 4 weeks away. We had already paid for the venue, the photographer, the flowers, the catering, and almost everything else. I could have yelled. I could have demanded she uninvite him. Instead, I simply said, okay. She looked surprised. Okay? I nodded. Yeah, okay. What she didn't know was that I had already started wondering why she wanted him there so badly. And within the next few days, I was going to discover that the wedding wasn't the only thing she had been lying about. My name is Ethan Carter. Jasmine and I had been together for almost 3 years. We met at a friend's birthday party, and honestly, she wasn't what I expected to fall for. She was confident, funny, ambitious, and somehow managed to make even boring things feel exciting. When she told me about Corey, she said their relationship had ended years ago. She described it as a mistake from her younger days. According to Jasmine, Corey was married now and living several states away. She told me she hadn't spoken to him in years, so when she casually mentioned inviting him to our wedding, I couldn't understand it. I asked her, "Why would you invite your ex to our wedding?" She rolled her eyes. "Because we're friends." "Since when?" "Since forever, Ethan." That answer bothered me. But what bothered me more was how defensive she became. She wasn't embarrassed. She wasn't apologetic. She acted like I was the unreasonable one. Then she said, "Corey's wife won't even be there. She's out of town that weekend anyway." I didn't think much of that sentence at first, but later that night, I kept thinking about it. Why did she need to explain where his wife would be? I hadn't even asked. 3 days later, I was sitting at my desk at work when Jasmine texted me. She was talking about the rehearsal dinner. Then she mentioned Corey again. I asked casually, "Is his wife coming?" Her response came almost immediately. "No, Dana's working out of town." Something about that answer felt rehearsed. Not because I had proof of anything, just because Jasmine seemed too prepared to answer a question I barely asked. That evening, I decided to look into something. Not because I wanted to spy on her, I just wanted to understand why this whole situation felt so strange. I remembered Corey's last name from an old conversation. After a little searching, I found a public professional profile belonging to Dana. And according to the information listed there, she worked less than 20 minutes from our wedding venue. Not another state, not another city, nearby, very nearby. I stared at my screen for almost a minute. Maybe her information was outdated. Maybe she had changed jobs. Maybe there was some innocent explanation. I wanted there to be, because the alternative meant Jasmine had lied to me, and I wasn't ready to believe that. Not yet. A few days later, I noticed something else. Jasmine had become unusually protective of her phone. She took it everywhere, even when she went into the kitchen for 30 seconds. One night, she fell asleep on the couch while watching television. Her phone was sitting beside her. A message notification appeared. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't unlock it, but I saw the name, Corey, and beneath it was part of the message preview. "Can't wait to see you again." My stomach dropped. I woke Jasmine and asked her directly, "Why is Corey texting you like that?" She immediately grabbed the phone. Then she said, "He's just excited about the wedding." I asked, "Does Dana know you two talk this much?" Jasmine's expression changed, just for a second. Then she became angry. "Ethan, you're being paranoid." Maybe I was, but that night I couldn't sleep. The next morning, I finally told myself something important. I wasn't going to accuse Jasmine of cheating based on assumptions. I wasn't going to start a screaming match. I needed the truth. And I decided the best way to get it was to stop asking questions. Instead, I would let the truth come to me. Our rehearsal dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, I decided it would become the moment everything changed. I called Dana. I didn't know her personally. I didn't accuse her of anything. I simply introduced myself and told her I was marrying Jasmine. Then I said, "I'd really like you to come to our rehearsal dinner." There was silence on the other end. Then she asked, "Why?" I told her the truth. Because I think there are things both of us deserve to know. Dana didn't answer immediately. Then she said, "I'll be there." I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not because I was angry, because I was terrified of what I might hear. That evening, Jasmine asked me why I looked so serious. I smiled and said, "Just wedding stress." She laughed. She had no idea. She didn't know that Dana had accepted my invitation. She didn't know what I had discovered. And most importantly, she didn't know that I had stopped trying to save our wedding. I was trying to find out whether there was a marriage worth saving at all. The rehearsal dinner was held at a beautiful restaurant downtown. 30-something people were there. Our parents, close friends, family members, everyone was excited. Everyone except me. Jasmine looked incredible. She smiled for photographs. She laughed with my mother. She thanked everyone for coming. For a few minutes, I almost convinced myself that I had made a terrible mistake. Maybe everything had an innocent explanation. Then the restaurant doors opened. Dana walked in. Jasmine saw her. Her smile disappeared. Corey turned around, and the color drained from his face. Nobody understood what was happening, except me and Dana. She walked directly toward our table. Corey stood up. "Dana?" She looked at him. Then she looked at Jasmine, and finally she looked at me. "You're Ethan?" I nodded. She said, "Thank you for inviting me." Jasmine stood frozen. Then she, "What is she doing here?" I answered calmly. "I thought it was important that everyone you invited to our wedding had the same information." The room went silent. Dana pulled out her phone. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply said, "I've been wondering why my husband has been hiding his phone from me." Then she looked at Jasmine. "And now I know." Dana showed me messages. Not one, not two, dozens. Months of conversations, late-night calls, private jokes, plans to meet. Messages that made it very clear this wasn't some innocent friendship. Corey had been lying to his wife. Jasmine had been lying to me. And somehow, they had both expected everyone to keep believing the story they created. Jasmine started, "Ethan, it's not what you think." I looked at her, then at Corey, then at Dana, and I realized something. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was disappointed, because the woman I planned to marry had given me every reason to trust her, and then quietly built a second relationship behind my back. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a folder. Inside were copies of our wedding invoices, venue, catering, photography, flowers, everything we'd already paid for. I placed the folder in front of Jasmine. She looked confused. I said, "Our wedding is canceled." Nobody spoke. My father tried to stop me. Jasmine begged me to stay. But I had already made my decision, and this time, there was nothing left to discuss. The next few weeks were messy. Our families took sides. Some people blamed me for embarrassing everyone at the rehearsal dinner. Others said I should have handled everything privately. Jasmine called me repeatedly. She apologized. She cried. She promised Corey meant nothing. But apologies don't erase months of lies. And trust doesn't come back because someone suddenly realizes what they're about to lose. Dana eventually filed for divorce. Corey's marriage ended. Mine never began. A few weeks later, Jasmine posted online. Her version of the story made me sound cold. She claimed I had humiliated her. She said I had destroyed our wedding over a misunderstanding. I almost responded. Then Dana posted screenshots. Every message, every lie, every excuse. After that, I didn't need to say anything. The truth had already spoken. Months later, I moved into a new apartment across town. I started rebuilding my life. No wedding, no fiancé, no carefully planned future, just me. And strangely, I was okay, because I finally understood something. Sometimes the hardest decision isn't walking away from someone you love. It's accepting that the person you loved wasn't the person you thought they were. I didn't cancel my wedding because Corey was invited. I canceled it because I finally realized why he was invited. And that one calm decision saved me from spending years wondering whether I should have trusted my instincts. I used to think losing Jasmine meant losing my future. Now I realize I didn't lose my future, I got it back, and this time I'm building it on the truth. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Veiled Verdict Stories for more heart-touching stories. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.